Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we are going to do another top 10 list because why not? And I love them. So if you look down here, first of all, if you want to see any other top 10 lists, we have tons of them. I highly recommend checking them out. Just know that mine are definitely the ones to look at over Mike's. No, I'm just kidding. But I am going to say my list here is the top games of 2021 so far with Colin, because Mike talks about games that are a little bit different than the ones that I do. Now, there might be a couple that cross over, but really, I'm going to talk about the good games of 2021. He talked about just, some other games. With that being said, you can check his out, then you can check mine out, and let us know which one is better. Let's start with my number 10. Number 10 for me is the Escape Roll and Write game. This is a 2 to 4 player game published by Queen Games. I have to say this caught me by surprise. I had never seen a roll and write that was cooperative, and it actually works quite well. You're going to just take your dice over here. These dice, if you know Escape the board game, that's a 10-minute real-time game, same looking dice, but you're going to take 2 at a time, roll them, choose whether you want to keep them or maybe give one to your teammate, and you're going to try and collect enough gems and get to the center of your map, and you both have to do that within the allotted amount of time. I'm playing a 2-player game, so it's 8 rounds. I really like it because of just how quick it is. It also gives you, as you can see here, you have a challenge, a more challenging side and an easier side. I will say after playing a couple times, I would recommend playing on the challenging side right away, because I feel like if you've played board games, you'll probably be good to go at that point. It's pretty simple to understand. What I like about the game is it's very quick to play. You're going to roll your dice. You can get different symbols that then you can allow your teammates to use. I think that's really cool. You can also actually save dice for them, and then they'll use it for their treasure maps, which can give you even more symbols. Everything that you're doing, it's kind of like almost an engine builder where everything that you're doing is going to help you along your track to getting gems. I get these symbols, which will then get me closer to getting gems, but they also give me more opportunities to move within the actual map itself. Yeah, it's very unique. It's something I haven't seen before in a game, and it's one that I'm definitely going to keep, especially for traveling. I mean, it's not anything that's absolutely phenomenal, blows my mind out of the water, but it's one that I can totally see my wife and I playing, or my kids, and it's not a challenge to play. Jump takes 20 minutes, and you can have some fun delving into a specific temple. And I will say that if you like Escape, but you don't like the real time, this gives you that same feeling, rolling dice, doing things, but it's not in real time. And I think that's why they came out with it. That is Escape Roll and Write. Number 9, we have Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles. This is a 1 to 5 player game published by Ares Games. In this game, what you're doing is going through a campaign. You are playing with the same heroes, moving through a story, completing quests, completing objectives, but the fun part Ancient Chronicles brought in was a whole town phase that they did not have in the first Sword and Sorcery. You get to go into different cities and do different actions and have almost a little choose your own adventure part in there, and then as you progress further in the campaign, you can even split off, which is pretty cool. The game is heavily dice based, so you have to be okay with dice. It's definitely a dungeon crawler with lots of reading, lots of different events that are happening. I chose Sword and Sorcery as one of my top 10 dungeon crawlers last year, and it's definitely one that is going to be somewhere in there, although at this point I would say it's probably not my top. That's why I have it as number 9. It does, though, provide the best part about the game is the enemies themselves. Each enemy has an enemy scroll that works completely different than the other enemies. You're trying to manipulate that to be able to defeat them and then get to the specific objectives to win the game. You'll collect these soul shards to then level up your heroes. It is very cooperative in that nature because even though I defeat enemies, it helps everyone because you use that pooled soul shards to level up your heroes. They have ways to make the enemies different each time you fight them with different level cards or power cards. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a great dungeon delver. And when you have painted minis from Barrett, what can go wrong? That's number 9, Sword and Sorcery. Number 8 is Dungeons of Infinity. This is a 1 to 5 player game. It's cooperative, published by Infinity and More, although it's just been announced that Sky Kingdom Games is taking this over to publish, which means it's going to be even more awesome. In this game, you're going through a dungeon. You've got tons of different quests that you can do. You can either do just one-off quests, or you can choose to do the campaign, which I highly recommend, because the campaign, he takes each one of the 10 different heroes that come in the game, and you play with them for 3 adventures, and you have a little bit of a story background for them. Then you move to a different hero, and then the story evolves around all of the heroes. It's a really cool way to allow you to level up your hero over 3 scenarios, then start over, see something new, but then keep the same storyline. I wish more games did that. Actually, Sword and Sorcery is one of those. There are so many heroes, but I'm never going to be able to play all of them because the campaign is too long. If I could play each scenario with different heroes, that would be really cool. So I love that we have that ability in Dungeons of Infinity. Also, Dungeons of Infinity has the one-off play, which is what I'm showing you here. You can see it on the channel itself. What's cool about the game is you are using tiles. You're going around. You don't know what you're going to find. You're going to explore tiles, potentially find events, or find enemies, or find quests, or find items. Lots of different things that you can do. All that dungeon crawling goodness you can see there, that shows you the different things you find based upon the tile numbers. When you fight enemies, every time you do damage to an enemy, you gain XP. Then you can use that XP to level up. Yeah, it's and you have a set of power cards that you can use. But you also, when you're playing on the one-off mode, you have a threat meter, and once that threat meter goes down to 0, you then have to deal with this dungeon master that comes out, and that dungeon master is almost impossible to defeat. So you're trying to avoid him, or maybe do a one last stand and take him out. Yeah, super fun. I highly recommend looking at this. I believe Sky Kingdom Games is looking to do another print run around September 7th, or they're doing something around September 7th. More information on that. Make sure to check that out. Dungeons of Infinity, my number 8. My number 7 is Bullet. This is a 1 to 4 player game, can be played co-op, solo, or competitive. It's published by Level 99 Games. It plays in 20 minutes. How many of these games on my list can play in 20 minutes? Only number 10 and number 7. All the other ones are a little bit longer. This is Mike's favorite game of 2021 for sure. We see that on his video. For me, I still love it. It's got a great puzzle. It's so much fun seeing, okay, how many more of these bullets can I pull before I take damage? How am I going to use my skills and actions here to get rid of these specific bullets and do enough damage to the boss? Every boss is different. Every single one of the different characters that you can play, they're all also very different. I love all of that. And they've got those pattern cards and how you get rid of the bullets, and those work differently for each one of the different characters. Super fun. I love how quick it is. I love the puzzle of the game. If you're looking for a nice, quick puzzler game, I would highly recommend checking out Bullet. And Mike has a great playthrough showing you how tense it can be. Definitely recommend checking out his video. Number 6 for me would be Chronicles of Drunagor. This is a 1 to 5 player cooperative game published by Creative Games Studio. You can, I believe, also play competitive, but I think the main way to play is cooperative. This game, Barrett and I are doing a playthrough on the channel, and it is so much fun. First of all, it is another dungeon delver where you are delving down into a dungeon trying to complete quests. It's got a 16 scenario or 15 scenario campaign. You're going to be playing as one hero throughout that entire campaign. You're going to be leveling up that hero. That hero will have a class that you can level up class cards. You can find items. You can level up the cubes that you use. So what's unique about the game is that it's cube management. You're going to use cubes to activate skills on your hero board. Then what you'll do is you'll roll, unfortunately, a d20. It's not terrible, but sometimes you can ask Barrett about how well he can roll a d20. Yeah, he misses all the time. But you will be going through the different levels, defeating these enemies. And what is unique about the game is that you have different levels in the game itself. You have the table itself, and then you've got these different trays that you'll be putting out on the table. And depending upon what levels you're at, you might get advantage on your attacks or disadvantage on your attacks. The enemy AI is super simple in the game, and that has its own positives and negatives. The biggest positive is that you're spending most of your time in this game. I mean, it's pretty much the exact opposite of Ancient Chronicles. You're spending most of the time in this game activating all the crazy different abilities your hero can do, and then the enemies just kind of do one thing and they're good to go. Versus Sword and Sorcery, you're spending a lot more time looking at all the different things the enemies can do, and you have minimal actions that you can do. What are you going to do on those actions? just so you can see what the board can look like as you continue on. You can see we've got 3 different levels here. This one is up much higher. So if we were up here attacking lower level enemies, we'd get more likely to get successes. Enemies do auto damage, so you don't have to worry about that. You've got also, okay, when you move into here, this is water. You have to lose 1 movement. Yeah, lots of fun, different tactical choices in the game. The story is fine. It's not anything out of the ordinary as amazing, but it is definitely something that I'm enjoying. I'm very much excited to continue this campaign, and I did back the new expansion for this. That is Chronicles of Drunagor. Here we have number 5, Valwraith. This is a 1-player game. It's published by Hull or Nothing Games, and I do think if you have 2 copies of the game, you can play it 2-player, I believe. In this game, you're going to be going through vignettes as you go through, and I think of them as scenarios. As you go through scenarios, you're going to slowly level up your deck of action cards. As you level up your deck, you're also going to be going against different enemies, and those enemies are going to be more and more challenging. It's super fun. I find it very challenging to win the game, and it feels really good when you win, and it has a very unique feel and look. I mean, it's all black and white, has this action mechanic where you, depending upon where your action cards are, you can see this 1, 2, and 3. That tells you how powerful that action is. And then your actions slide around, so you're trying to manipulate which actions you want to do. And then you have cards in your hand that can help with that. Yeah, super fun, super different than what I've played. And I love card games. And this game is definitely one of those that I keep coming back to and I keep enjoying. I will say it is a challenge. And what you will find is as you play the game more, you'll become better and better and better at it. So don't give up if you're having a hard time initially. Do beware though that some of the art may not be family friendly. There is a family friendly pack you can get, but it doesn't replace all the art, I would say, that isn't exactly family friendly. So this is one of those few games that I usually don't bring out in front of my kids. I'll only be playing this solo on my own, not when they're around. Number 4 for me, and I have already played 2 full campaigns of this game, is Sleeping Gods, a 1 to 4 player cooperative game published by Red Raven Games. I'm going to pause the screen here. I don't want to show you any spoilers in case you don't want to see it. If you do want to see a spoiler playthrough, I do have a full 5-video playthrough of this game. It's awesome. I recommend it only if you want to see spoilers though. I also was playing it at the same time that Bernd from Meet Me at the Table was playing, and it was really fun to compare our 2 campaigns and see how different they are. So in this game, you're a group of 9 crew members. No matter what, you always have to play with a group of 9, and you're going and adventuring across this map. You don't know what your goals are specifically. You just know that you want to find these totems, but you don't know how and you don't know where. You start checking out and exploring these locations. They're going to send you on mini quests or larger quests. You don't know what you're going to find. As you go through the game, you're going to collect these totems, and then you come to a finale, and at the end of the finale, you can see how you did. I absolutely love it. You have to be okay with having tons of small stories that may not connect directly, but they create the world that you're in. So although I may have some event that happens over here and then an event that happens over here and they are not related at all, it tells you more about what's happening on this part of the world itself. I've played it now 2 full times. I'm going to start a 3rd campaign with 4 players when I get back from vacation. That should tell you how much I enjoy it. There's also a really fun mechanic of combat and how that works. It's very puzzly, and there's a whole resource management section of this game where you are trying to manage all the resources on your ship and keep your ship from being sunk. So those are all the different things about Sleeping Gods. I recommend checking out Mike's video review if you're interested, and then if you're okay with a few spoilers, check out a playthrough. That will show you if you like the game. That's Sleeping Gods, my number 4. My 3rd favorite game of 2021 has been Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. If you like Race for the Galaxy, you're very likely going to like this game. It is very similar. However, in this one, which is a 1 to 4 player game published by Stronghold Games, you can actually play a 2-player co-op version. Now, Mike would tell you that it's not as good, but I disagree. I've played it with my wife and with Bernd, now a total of 5 times, and I'm actually starting to love it. I love that you can do this cooperatively, and that's how my wife likes to play it, and that's how I like to play. You can also play solo. The solo mode, you'll see I do a playthrough of the solo mode, and Mike actually has a playthrough of the cooperative mode. I think what makes me so excited about this game is just how easy it is to do the engine building, and the art is absolutely amazing. I love how all the cards look, and as you're going, you're thinking there's no way that you're going to be able to terraform Mars within the amount of rounds that you need to do for solo or co-op. But all of a sudden, everything starts lining up together. You're generating all your mega credits, you're playing all your cards, doing your actions, and boom, all of a sudden, Mars is fully and completely terraformed. And with that, then you look at your board state and you see all these different cards that you play and the names of the cards. It's fun. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I bought a Comet and I had some standard technology. I also got some medical labs and I had the cartel helping me with the medical group. You can kind of build a story from the cards that you've played. And I love that. My wife and I will always go through our cards and be like, oh yeah, this is totally the type of people I was, or a group that I was. In my playthrough, we didn't like plants at all. So we didn't build any plants. There's no forest here. Instead, it was all about the cartel, finding ways to generate money through the earth, essentially. But yeah, that's Terraforming Mars. If you like engine building, you will love this game. And if you like Race for the Galaxy with the phases and the different phases, you only do the phases that you lead, you will like this game. Check that out. That's Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. My number 2 game should be no surprise. This is Imperium Classics or Legends. It's a 1 to 4 player competitive or solo game published by Osprey Games. You are a civilization trying to build up and gain the most victory points if you're playing solo, going against a bot. I absolutely love this game. Each civilization feels 100% unique. Some of them work actually totally even different from all the basics of the game. It breaks the game itself. The one I just did a playthrough of, I was the Arthurians. I was not even having a nations deck. Instead, what I had was a quest deck, and I was going on quests and trying to find the Holy Grail. How cool is that? So I love how each civilization is different. I like how I can play any of the other civilizations as a bot for my solo game, and they work relatively the same. It's not a challenge to activate. You just have a chart, you do whatever it says, and you're good to go. And I have to say, who doesn't love full art on cards like this? I hope all new deck builders look at this as a way to set up the cards. Easily readable for what I need to do as activations, but the art bleeds throughout the entire card itself. I absolutely love that. Number 2, Imperium Classics / Legends. Number 1 for me, and I will fully admit this might be recency bias going into it, but is Descent Legends of the Dark. I have now played 4 quests of this game, and every quest I have absolutely adored. I don't have a playthrough on the channel of this yet, but that's because I have Bill actually painting all the miniatures for it. I wanted this to be that full experience, and I don't think you'll get a full experience without painted miniatures. So hopefully once I'm back from vacation, he'll have those to me. I just want to show you a couple of them as I talk about the game. This game is an app-based game, so you have to be okay with apps to be able to do this, but it's a dungeon crawler, 16 scenarios, 14 main with 2 side quests. You have up to 6 heroes that you can play with. You're going around completing quests, but the big thing is there's 3D terrain, different levels, the miniatures. I mean, look at these miniatures. Hasn't Bill done amazing? And these are just the heroes he's done. He's going to paint everything, so just think of what everything's going to look like on the table. Yeah, I cannot wait. The app is, I think, the best implemented of any app game I've played. I also feel like the game is easy to understand. I could play it with my 7-year-old, yet Barrett and I have been having a blast playing our own campaign as just for fun right now, so I can learn the game. Yeah, Descent, I am so excited to show it to you. Once I get those painted minis, I will have a playthrough on the channel for sure. Excited for this one. I hope you are too. That is my number 1, Descent Legends of the Dark. There you have it. That's my top 10 games of 2021 so far with Colin. You'll have to let me know just how much better mine is than Mike's, okay? If it's the other way around, just don't say anything. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what's your favorite game of 2021 so far, and I hope to see you at our next playthrough or review or whatever we have on our channel. I'll catch you at the next stop.